I'm Randy Rohde, and I'm fascinated with entrepreneurs and small business owners. Plus, I love baseball. Every show, I sit down with a small business owner, and we discuss their running the bases of entrepreneurship. We throw the ball around on strategy, management, execution, and innovation. Plus, a little fun baseball talk. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Settle in, grab your Cracker Jacks, and you know what they say.
Play ball.
And it's a great day for a ball game. This is Randy Rohde. Got a question for you, folks. What do you call a British engineer who crosses the pond to find his way in the tech industry, but realizes his fortune and entrepreneurial spirit really lie in the wild, wild west of the California real estate market? Well, we call that today's guest. When he's not investing in homes in Southern California, might also be found at local Blitz Marketing, a digital marketing company he co-founded in 2009. Or you might find him out hiking with his wife and their furry children. I didn't write this intro. We are pleased to welcome to Running the Bases with Small Businesses podcast, Simon White. Simon, good to have you on the show.
Hi there, Randy. Thanks for having me on. You got it right there.
I'm assuming the furry children are not offspring, but more like pets of some sort.
Yeah, we adopt dogs. All our dogs are from the rescue. So yeah, we've had a blind dog, a deaf dog in the past. We've got a dog at the moment that we're fostering that only has 2 legs.
Oh my!
She does exceptionally well. Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. She's from Mexico. She got hit by a car, we think, down there, and they actually amputated the back 2 legs, so she can get around really well on two front legs.
No kidding.
We have wheels for her.
Yeah,
but she can actually run faster on 2 legs than she can with her wheels because she's got really strong front legs. So,
that is amazing. Wow. I will tell a quick story around that. We had a neighbor who had a 3-legged cat and was missing a rear leg. And that cat was the best, would come over and just pounce on groundhogs or ground squirrels what are these things, critters, and she'd leave them out there. This cat was amazing. I was always amazed at it. But anyway, so let's jump in. I've got a fun story that, my research team, I was telling you before we hit the record button here, she is so great, finds all kinds of fun stuff. She dug up a fun story about how you met your wife.
Wow. Okay. I was wondering if you would find that. That's buried in the internet. Most people don't know about it, but it's interesting you found it.
So I'm wondering if you would care to share with the audience a little bit of a story of Simon White and your wife, Amanda.
Well, I came here in 97, I think it was. Anyway, whatever year it was, I went. I was single for the first few months, but then me and my English friends, we were all from England. We all came over pretty much the same time. We went to a concert, Alanis Morissette. Yeah. And before the concert, I sat next to a few girls, local girls, and we just got chatting and stuff, nothing major. And then she started, Alanis Morissette, the concert started and never really saw her again. And then a few days later, I got a phone call and it was a radio station. Yeah. And they introduced Amanda on the phone, me and Amanda over the phone. And she asked me out to go for a date on that Saturday. And the rest is history. A couple of years later, we got married.
No kidding.
There is a big, long, elaborate version of that my wife tells, but I just give you the the short and quick version. But yeah, I met my wife, Alanis Morissette, at the Del Mar Fair. A couple of years later, we got married, and we actually had the DJ from the radio station be our DJ at our wedding.
That's nice. Yes. So I think your wife is the great romantic then, must be. Because, yeah. That's very good. Well, how long have you been married now?
24 years. 23 years. Yeah. 99. Yeah. It was just a few days ago, actually.
Very good. Congratulations. Well, there you go. So growing up in England, you attended the University of Bradford, have your engineering degree. here in the States, as you know, so we just passed May 1st, which is the typical U.S. college commitment day, which is the crazy college acceptance. All of the applicants, they essentially commit to university and all of that stuff. Curious, what are some of the differences between college life in England versus here in the States? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Well, the college I went to was specific to the type of engineering I went to, that I wanted to do, which was radio engineering. But I don't, we did a lot of drinking. And the drinking age in England is 18. Here it's 21. But I guess so it's legal to start drinking at 18 in England. Here it's 21. Back then, all my college was paid for. I didn't really leave college with any big debts or anything, a few £1,000 top,
Nice.
So, but now I think it's changed. I think England is a lot more like the US now.
Oh,
the you have to, tuition is a lot more expensive and stuff. It's such a long time ago that college now and college a few years ago when I was there, it's a bit different. So.
Yes, the world is different as well in so many different ways. So you got your engineering degree. You came here to the States. Did you come to the States directly to Southern California from England, or did you go?
I worked in England at Nokia and Ericsson for a few years, for about 4 or 5 years. And then I came for a vacation for 3 weeks and a big tour around California and Nevada, San Francisco, came down the coast, LA, San Diego, Las Vegas, Yosemite, did a big loop. And then I said, oh, I really like San Diego. So I applied for a few jobs. And within a couple of weeks, I flew over here for an interview up in Orange County, and I had an interview for a company in San Diego, actually in London. Got offered those 2 jobs and decided to come to San Diego.
Nice. Yeah.
And so 6 months after I'd been here for a 3-week holiday, I was living here because I had to wait for a visa and all the rest of it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, San Diego, you could have picked someplace a lot worse than San Diego.
Yeah, I did the big loop. I think, I like San Diego the best.
Yeah. So you came over working as an engineer.
Yeah.
And then
the 3 weeks was a vacation, but then 6 months later, I came over as an electrical engineer. It was during the big boom in mobile phones.
Right.
I designed mobile phones in England, and I came over to work for Hughes Network Systems. Was the first company I worked for where we designed big. I started out when mobile phones were the size of a brick.
I had one of those. Yeah. Well, at some point then you got the entrepreneurial bug and you started pursuing California real estate. I think back in 07 is what my notes say. Is that
right? We flipped some homes in California, but I bought some homes out of state, which I still have some of those. So we kind of got into buying and selling homes in San Diego, and it was hot back in 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah.
As it is now. And then I bought some rentals in a few different parts of the country, in South Carolina and Mississippi and Phoenix and stuff. I sold some of those, but I've still got quite a few of them.
You started in that industry when it was pretty hot, and then
I kind of started right at the top.
Yeah,
2000, and it was like, but I've managed to keep hold of some of those. They actually good. Still, some of them I had to sell because it was in the big downturn. Things got real nasty, so I just got rid of them.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
I was able to hold on to quite a few of them. So
during the 08 through 010 or so.
That was pretty difficult nasty. Well, that's when we were doing short sales. Well, basically in San Diego, where you were buying houses in pre-foreclosure and then selling them again quickly.
And you're able to make
for a couple of years.
You can make money at that fairly well.
Our best one we did 110,000 in a flip. So it was not too bad back then.
God, no kidding! Wow, that's amazing. So. Are you still active in?
No, not so much in real estate. I've still got rentals.
Right.
And I do a little bit of work in real estate notes, which is I generate some leads and I broker them, or I also have some notes. Notes are the debt, the mortgage.
Okay.
You can sell a house without a bank. If I wanted to buy a house from you, Randy, and we didn't want to go to the bank, you could just agree to carry the paper. So if I bought you at $100,000 house to sell. I might give you $10,000 down and you would finance that 90,000 to me.
Right.
So, but then if later on you say, I want to sell that $90,000 note to someone else,
right.
An investor might come in there and buy it from you. He might discount it a little bit so he gets a better interest rate,
sure.
a better yield. But there's a whole industry around buying private notes like that.
Okay.
So I have some of those notes, and I also do lead generation online to generate some of those types of leads to give to other people. I'd say broker them to or sell the leads to other people.
I had no idea that even was. That seems like such a small sliver? Is it?
It is a very small sliver, but on that same ilk, you can do the same thing with people do it with structured settlements. JG Wentworth, you see all over the place. That's how it works. Lottery winnings can be created into notes like that. There's lots of things, even royalty fees and all sorts of things can be created. A cash flow can be created from things like that. There's a whole sub-industry of financial instruments that most people have never heard of.
Yeah. Curious, through your kind of investments and purchases, made any bad purchases in any of them?
Yeah. Real estate or otherwise?
Otherwise, whatever.
I've had some bad real estate deals for sure. I loaned money that never got paid back. And you learn a lot from that. You lost a good chunk of money in various bad deals. Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So your 110,000 flip, could evaporate.
I've lost more than that.
Yeah. Well, so you were kind of involved and heavy into that stuff, kind of before that house and garden TV craze, where they're flipping houses. And were you doing stuff
I think it kind of came out of the big 2010, 11, did it start off? I don't know. There's always been something, but now there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
Even ice, is it Vanilla Ice, and various people do flipping on TV and stuff. Yeah. There's a lot of them now. Yeah.
So would you do this, the house flip? And I think I'm more familiar with where you go in, you grab the house, buy it, and then renovate.
I didn't
completely
do that. No,
got
that's
it,
a lot
and
of
then
work. All I did was I bought the house and sold it onto someone else.
So you were almost just an owner on paper, quick, and then.
Well, yeah, that's called wholesaling. When you buy a house or you get it under contract and you sell the contract to someone else who wants to renovate it and sell it. So I've done a little bit of that. And the other thing was we did short sales. So we helped owners sell their house that were in good condition. So we kind of bought it on paper and then sold it immediately. There's a special technique for doing it with double-ended close.
Got it. Crazy market today in the housing industry. What do you think about that? Would you?
Yeah, I'm not an expert in it anymore because I don't follow it quite as much. But yeah, certainly San Diego's gone up like 22% in the last year. I think we're starting to see some cooling in many areas because the interest rates have gone up and our house has doubled in price in the last 6 or 7 years. I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. So you came here as an electrical engineer. What was it that kind of tripped your interest and really got you into the real estate pursuit? How did you even?
Well, I was just, I worked in the corporate world for probably total of 15 years, but I first got interested in real estate when someone at one of the companies I was working with talked to me about rentals, real estate rentals, and I kind of got interested and says, oh, that's kind of interesting. So that's how I got into it. I went to a few seminars and stuff and started buying a few rentals, and it just kind of grew out of that. I started to think about how I can generate extra income from that. I thought I was going to do it with rentals.
Right.
But rentals is not big enough an income for me to live off it yet.
Yeah. That's incredible. So, and then at some point kind of brought you into the world that you do today. And this is I think the venue that you and we belong to a couple of different professional groups. And I don't know, I think we met online a couple of years ago or so. We've gone to a couple of different conferences together. And you are now co-leading. I don't know what to call you, I guess, but you've got a
co-founder, whatever.
Yeah. You've got a digital agency there in San Diego. Tell us a little bit about that.
I kind of got into that because of the real estate thing, because I was building my own websites. I was just, I built my first website out of HTML, and then I think I built a couple of WordPress sites to try and generate leads for my real estate business.
Right.
And then I did a little bit of stuff for other people. Then I did a bit of marketing online for websites and stuff. And it just kind of grew out of that. I kind of like this more than the real estate.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit closer to what I was at college for, computers and stuff like that, where real estate was, you have to talk to people and stuff,
Well, you still have to talk to people occasionally.
Yeah. But luckily my business partner does more of that. I just talk to a computer and to people that talk the same language as me, like yourself and people. Yes. I do talk to some of our clients, but my business partner does. Probably he's more on the sales side. I'm a bit more on the marketing and technical side.
All right.
Kind of works out well for us.
Yeah. Well, you've been doing it for a while, so.
Yeah. I think it's 2008, 2009, somewhere around there. I can't really pin down exactly when I started it, because I transitioned into it from doing it for myself to a few other people. So it's like, it's a bit hazy to me. It was 2008, 2009, I think. Yeah. I started doing it for other clients, and then I was on my own for many years. And then in 2016, I found a business partner that I tried working with a few people in the past as a business partner, but it didn't work out 2 or 3 times. Just, you got to find the right person to be a business partner with. And 2016, I found a guy that, similar ideas to me, but he was good at one thing and I was better at another thing. So it really worked out. So we've been together now for 6 years, and finding a business partner was a big help for me as a business owner to grow the business. Since then, we've grown quite a lot because he had his strengths, I had my strengths, and I wasn't particularly good at some of the things he was good at. More, he was better at. He'd actually been in sales, so he was better at that anyway.
Yeah, is he as interested? I'll say in the technical side.
He was doing social media and reputation management.
Okay.
So he had that side of it, but I was doing more of the SEO and PPC, search engine optimization and that type of stuff. So it was a good marriage of the two.
So that's pretty interesting. So I'm going to ask you here now, we're going to move into what we like to call the 7th inning stretch, Simon. I know baseball is not widely popular, we'll say, in England, but do you like baseball? You got the Padres down there.
Games in San Diego. I've been to the Padres a couple of times. Yeah, it's fun,
Yeah, there we go.
It's not too bad. It's not my thing, but it's okay. Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, we are.
And it's time for the 7th inning stretch.
It is time for the 7th inning stretch. So I know that baseball is not horribly popular there in England, but it does have some history.
Really?
In England. Yeah, you're like, really? I had no idea. Yes. And actually it goes, there's some, I'm not going to go into the deep history, but back in the about 120 years ago, it started with a gentleman, Sir Francis Lay, started a team there in around 1889, 1890, something like that. And then we'll kind of move forward into that. But probably Britain's greatest moment in baseball was back in 1938 when the U.S. had a national baseball team. They were preparing for the 1940 Olympics, and England had an all-star team. And so they played the America's all-star team. And actually, England won that series 4-1. So, which is
what? Is that the last game they ever won?
Yes. So pretty exciting. It seemed to be that maybe British baseball was heading in the right direction. And then World War II breaks out, and the popularity of the sport never returned to England. It's just obviously now it's just not that popular. But here's your question, coming and being from England. Do you have any idea how many Major League Baseball players were born in England?
I have zero idea. I'll take a complete guess. 7. No idea whatsoever.
You're close in a certain regard. 32 in total that were born in England, but only 6 of them have played since World War II. So,
oh, really? Wow.
Yes. So your 7 was close, kind of post World War II. So not too bad.
I think there's probably more NFL players from England because I think rugby people can sometimes transition into NFL.
Yeah. Well, that could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Those guys playing cricket, they swing a stick.
But cricket, they swing the bat differently. It's not sort of up here. It's from the floor.
Yeah,
it's a different
down.
shape.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, not too bad, Simon. You did all right.
My knowledge of baseball is practically zero.
All right. Well, let's get back into it.
Play ball.
All right. So I find it interesting with you is that you do have this entrepreneurial spirit where instead of this highly technical, where I would think that you're an electrical engineer and at first glance, you would think you might not be like, hey, I want to take a risk. I want to go, make some investments, go pursue, start my own business kind of thing. But you really kind of moved in that direction. Is there anything? Was your family? Did you have?
Oh, well, my brother and father have a small business. They have a car garage in England.
Mm.
Yeah, and I actually, when I was younger, I actually did dabble in entrepreneurship. When I was 16, I wrote a computer program that I sold.
Oh wow! Look at you.
So I was involved in computers in the early days. It was on a cassette tape, and I sold it through a magazine, and so that was one of the things I did. And I think I was probably 15, 16 when I did that. Then when I was 17, one summer, we started a car wash business that we drove around and washed people's cars. So I dabbled with it before I was in electrical engineering, being a sort of small business owner.
Yeah. That's so funny. The mobile car wash or car detailing is what you call it here. People still make very good business doing that. Yeah. You were on the cutting edge probably back then. So now at some point you came to the States, you're doing the electrical engineering, you were doing real estate investment, and then you're like, you're not satisfied. You're still doing some business pursuits. You opened a hair salon franchise.
Oh, yeah. That was because I wanted to get out of engineering just because, I liked engineering, but I was in it for long enough that I wanted to do something different, be my own boss, So we went to a business broker, we went to a franchise broker, and they do an interview with you and they figure out what you interested in and your goals and stuff. And they came up with a few different things. One of them was a hair salon, great clips. Another one was a mobile pet grooming. It was Aussie Petmobile.
Okay.
And they're the two we kind of looked at pretty closely. I'm not sure why we chose Great Clips in the end, but that's the one we chose because we believed it could be scalable. And, the successful franchisees had like 5 or 10 salons. So we chose that one. So, we did that for about 3 years. I kind of figured out pretty quick that I didn't really like that business. I was dealing with, we had 14 employees, most of them females. So for the first year or so, I was at the salon every day. And then I realized I can't handle this. So I just said, my wife can handle it now. I'm going home and staying home. Then I went back into the high-tech space for a few years because hair salon was not me.
When I saw this in the notes, now, for what I know of you and hanging out with you, that would have been probably the last thing that I would have ever have coupled with you as like a hair salon.
It was fun for a while, and then it became painful. Listening to 18, 19, 20-year-olds with all their problems. We come across every thing you can think of, problems, drug addiction, unfortunately, and pregnancies, and just a lot of young female problems,
I just can't.
I'm out of this. I don't think I'm the right person for this.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and and hair is, for me, is just just something I can't relate with anymore. It
doesn't cost you too much, does it?
It doesn't. So that is crazy. So at some point you said, okay, this isn't for me. How did you go about kind of undoing that?
So it was a franchise. So there was a support. There was like 20 different salons in San Diego County. And
okay.
I knew all the other franchise owners. So I approached one or two of them to see if they wanted to buy it. So I sold it for pennies on the dollar. Yeah. So the numbers work out as I put about $300K into it and sold it for $30K. That was it.
Ouch. Yeah. You needed to start flipping some houses or something in order to come back from that one. It is interesting though. And I'm sure that you sitting back now, I mean, I'm sure that was years ago, but looking back at it now, what's maybe a life lesson that you probably have picked up out of that?
Well, franchises are good because they do have an established system, and that's what we wanted. They have, you do it this way and this way and this way.
Right.
Everything is set out. You buy you buy your equipment from here. You buy your supplies here. Here's the ATM system. And there's a training system. Everything was set up for you. You're paying it. So you pay a fee for that. So everything's set up. You just. Right. Should be just plug and play. And for a lot of people it is, but for us it just didn't work out. We just weren't the right people for that type of business.
Yeah. That's got to be
But there are lots of people. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a bad business. It's just some people have done really well from it. Some people have 10, 20, 30 salons, and then You're making pretty decent money from each one.
Sure. Well, I would think it is an industry that probably will just continue to go on regardless of...
I think so, yeah, because I don't think robots are going to replace hairdressers anytime soon.
I doubt it.
And hair seems to grow.
Yeah.
Except during the pandemic when everyone had YouTube haircuts and stuff for a while.
Or just let it grow. And, I tried that run and it didn't really change anything for me. But so in thinking, over the course of the years that you've been in business and had different business pursuits and experiences, when you came across something maybe like the hair salon, or maybe in one of your real estate ventures, when you came across or were faced with obstacles, some challenges, what was your approach to overcome that?
Challenges? Sometimes, being an engineer, I try and solve it myself first sometimes. Sometimes that isn't the best approach. So certainly in some of my in the past, maybe I just try and solve it myself and just muddle through. That's generally not the best approach. What I do now is I have a problem. I have a lot of, I'm in the digital marketing space. If I have a problem, I know lots of people. I know lots of people that have more experience in certain things than me. So I will seek out someone that can help me with a specific problem. So having a big network of people that understand the same industry as you is very useful when you're a business owner. And I think I'm in a networking group, and a lot of people, I have industries totally unrelated to mine, and so now there's a CPA and things like that. The networking group is good for me because I can go to people within that group and ask them specific questions that are totally outside the scope of my work.
Right. That actually is some great advice. I have been active in a number of different networking groups. I've met some great people. There's a great group organization called BNI. I don't know if
I was in that I was in BNI for 5 years. That's very good certainly when you're getting started.
Yeah.
I kind of now I'm in, it's called the Executives Association of San Diego. It's slightly bigger businesses. That's been very good for my business, actually, because I got quite a few clients from there as well.
Oh, so good.
It's a good way to grow your business, no matter what type of business you're in. So there's roofing guys in, networking group. There's window guys, all sorts of different industries.
Well, I think it's a great approach. And I was going to say, and now I'm heavily involved in our local Chamber of Commerce. And I think it's good as a business owner, as we both are now, to engage outside, and is what you mentioned, to engage with owners outside of your specific niche, because, you know, as you rattled off, whether it's CPAs or lawyers or roofers or whatever that business is, or those businesses are that are part of that group, you really can learn still from anybody in any business, because they may not have your very specific niche specific challenge that you're trying to figure out, but they're business owners. They're still trying to figure out, how do we get new customers? How do we get more efficient in delivering our services? How do we scale? How do we save money in operations? And so kind of having that network and sounding boards, and as you're exploring topics like that amongst a group of people, you get a completely different perspective.
It's very useful for any business owner to be in a group like that. Yeah, because some of our members have been in business 50 years.
Yeah.
And some of them are multi-generational. Some of them have been in the company, in the organization for over 70 years. Their grandfather, the father, and the father. So they have lots of business experience. So you can go to them with questions, or they can even connect you with people that they know. If they don't know someone, they know someone who does know someone. So it's very powerful, I think, for a small business.
So Simon, what's around the corner? What's the next big step or big pursuit?
Well, I'm just continuing to grow. We don't grow our agency fast. Everyone wants to grow scale. We're more of a grow slowly, and high retention is our model for our current clients. And also we're trying to do things slightly outside of client work, building our own websites and stuff to generate income and stuff. So I'm just slowly doing that, and I'll probably buy another couple of real estate houses and stuff, and I don't have these big dreams of being $100 million company anymore. It's just, I just want a comfortable, easy life where I can do what I do wherever I want to do it. So, because I'm digital, most of my stuff is digital. I can do my job anywhere in the world.
Yeah. And
that's, December we took off. Well, we went somewhere up, we went up the coast of California, and I ran my business from a Airbnb for a month. So.
Oh, nice. Do you have any of those fancy thoughts of, I don't know, at some point in your life, just going off to some other country? There's a lot of guys that do what we do, that go off to the Philippines or maybe Taiwan.
It's more difficult because we have animals. So it's difficult because we like to have dogs around. So that makes it a bit more challenging. I might be able to do it for a couple of weeks, but I couldn't do it for 6 months or a year like some people do, like being a digital nomad.
Yeah.
I'll probably not do that, but, I might do it for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe a month, but not any longer than that.
Yeah.
Maybe in the future, maybe in 10 years in the future, I might change my mind.
Maybe at a point when you don't have a furry animal that you're
unfortunately they do
overseeing.
Come and go. Yeah. But I keep replacing them. So.
All right. So Simon, here we are. We're at the bottom of the ninth, and this is where we typically ask our guests, what advice do you have for rookies in the game? So those folks starting out in business, or maybe who already have a business and they're looking for some guidance from an old sage veterans like you, been around on the bus for a while.
Well, I think we talked about it just a minute ago. I think if you're starting out, it'd be good to get into some sort of BNI, LTIP, or some other organization where other small businesses gather, because one, they can help you with, often there'll be a CPA and a lawyer and all those types of people, professional services that you need for your business. But also the goal of those types of organizations is to refer business to you. So, if you refer business to them, the idea is that they refer business to you. So that's actually one way you can really build your business quickly. And I know quite a few one-man bands have turned into bigger companies by just going to the right type of networking group, BNI, LTIP, Chamber of Commerce, whatever it is. There's a lot in San Diego. There's lots of them.
Right.
So I think that would be very beneficial starting out.
Right.
And also read lots of Amazon books, but
There you go. I tell my kids this all the time. I think, hey, you can go on YouTube and learn about anything in 30 minutes and be proficient at least. So I'm like, don't ask me, go ask YouTube. You can find it there.
Yeah, you can get the theory and some of the ideas from there, but go into these networking groups, you get to interact with real businesses and how does it really work, and what did you do and stuff. So I think that's, if you're really just starting out, that's probably one of the top things to do, is go and join something like that. Yeah,
I think that's some great advice. Well, listen, Simon, thanks for hanging out with us a bit here today. We can get in touch with you at localblitz.com. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah. Localblitz.com.
Right. I'll have that link and other social networks and things if people could reach out to you via the internet. We'll have those in our show notes. And I appreciate you hanging out with us on a beautiful Friday, hopefully in San Diego. It's gorgeous there. It's gorgeous here in Cleveland today. So
great. Thanks for having me, Randy.
All right. I appreciate it. And that's the ball game, folks. Thanks for joining us today. And if you like our show, please tell your friends, subscribe and review, and we'll see you around the ballpark. Running the Bases with Small Businesses is brought to you by 38 Digital Market, a digital marketing agency committed to client growth with lead generation, higher conversions, and increased sales. Connect with us today at 38digitalmarket.com.